Today's episode is an emotional but inspiring interview. What we're about to share is a story of tragedy, loss, survival, and ultimately, resilience. On the night of March 15th, 2022, a journey home after a college golf tournament turned into a nightmare no young athlete should ever face. A van carrying members of the University of the Southwest golf team was struck in a head-on collision that claimed 9 lives. 2 Canadian students, Dayton and Hayden Underhill, were the only ones that survived. The physical and emotional toll of that night is almost impossible to grasp. For so many families, friends, and teammates, that tragic crash in Texas is a wound that will never fully heal. For Hayden, it was a moment that changed everything, and yet here he is today, willing to sit down and talk about the experience, the grief, and what it's taken to not only move forward, but return to competing at the highest level in collegiate golf. It's an incredible story. What you're about to hear is deeply personal. It's not just a story of survival, it's a testament to what it means to carry loss with you, confront it head on, and live understanding that tomorrow is never guaranteed. Welcome to episode 11 of Sandbagger Sessions.
How you doing, man?
Good. Yeah, it's been a while.
Do we want to start with the biggest tournament from the weekend?
Which was
the one I beat you in?
Let's welcome everyone.
Okay, welcome back to my podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome back. What are we today? I think we're episode 11, and let's just put it out there. I fucked up, and we've been not absent, but missing.
So let's talk about the process. So you're down here putting. We're in Cole's basement, and you missed a few putts. Or just didn't like the stroke.
I actually took the head of the Scotty into the glass. No, I did not.
No damage to the Scotty.
No damage.
That's good quality product.
Yeah, quality product. No, it was a freak accident. I was, for the first time in probably 6 months, I went to, you can't see it off to the side here, but I got a little like F1 simulator thing, and I went to move my screen.
Sick.
Huh?
Which is sick.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And I went to move the screen here is clamped on to the glass, and when I moved it over, I guess the weight from the screen. Anyway, so glass smashed, and I do all this on a Mac Mini because I was like, I don't need a laptop, but then that really screwed me. Anyway, we are back. Yeah. Little short resurgence last week with our picks for Pebble. We recorded a I'm calling it a 1v1v1, me and Stefan, and special guest who is yet to be announced.
Yeah, we'll see if
Friday.
That sees the light of day.
Yeah, well,
that may have got into a few too many beverages and kind of lost. We got out over our skis a little bit. We'll use a water skiing term there.
Yeah, we can just do a little CBS, like, while there was an ad break on, this is what happened.
There was no audio, and we'll just show the golf. That would go over well.
Yeah, that'd go really well. Yeah, I'll just do a voiceover, like commentary for what's happening.
Okay, that sounds great.
Anyway, we'll make it work. But we've got a 1v1v1 of a fun match there, which was good. I'm 1-0, just by the way, in this series right now. But before we get into real topics, the big tournament from the weekend, as you mentioned, big one actually, right here in Kingston.
Yeah, we had a little indoor major at Turnberry, and picked up a dub at my own tournament. Can't actually win, but you
can call yourself a major winner now.
Cleaned up on some skins, cleaned up on some other cash games we had going on, and you ended up winning the tournament of regular players. And congrats to you and me, I guess.
Yeah,
that's how
I didn't want to take that prize because
you were pretty bitter. You were pretty bitter, and then you got the prize, and you were pretty happy. So
I was pretty happy. It was good, and I won some. No, I didn't win cash. We don't play for cash. That's not allowed to do that.
Right, I do.
But if
I'm allowed to, yeah.
But if there was cash, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome back. Really excited to get into today's episode. We've got a wonderful, shall we say, probably somewhat emotional interview lined up. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Which,
let's go over the fun stuff, and then we'll get to that interview. And looking forward to it. But won't be the lightest interview you probably hear
but
on my podcast.
I mean, I guess we should talk about it now. It's a young gentleman by the name of Hayden Underhill, who is a local here to Kingston, but plays golf at university in the States, and a number of years ago was involved, him and his team involved in a just tragic car accident, and unfortunately from that accident, him and his one friend were the only one that survived, and we'll link it below as well, but there is a short documentary that TSN did with James Duthie.
It will be interesting. I would never have asked Hayden to do this interview. I've known Hayden forever.
Yeah.
And it's not a topic. It feels weird to do it. I don't want to do it for clicks, but if he's coming, and just when you hear the interview, you'll get what I mean, how he handles things through laughing and joking about things, and everybody handles things differently. So when he said, "Hey, like, are you up for an interview?" I basically like, "Are you up for it?" And I had to like double, triple check. So chatted with other people that are obviously close to Hayden, and yeah, it's one of those ones where we'll see what happens, basically. But I'm glad it's his story to tell, and if he's willing to tell it, if we can give him a platform to do it, let's do that.
Absolutely. So while we're on that, again, we're not doing this for clicks, but to one of the things hopefully we can do over time is help people like Hayden, get their stories out. So you got to help us out. You got to help people like Hayden out. You got to subscribe, hit that button. It's just one click, and let's get all the giggles out. We can get all the giggles out now. We've got some
for sure.
some fun stuff to talk about. So let's first talk about Pebble, because in no change to what's happened over the last 4 weeks, I absolutely kicked your ass at the weekend.
Yeah, Jake Knapp had a good weekend. Justin Rose, I didn't realize went home in between tournaments. That was an oversight. Should have been tracking flights. Went back to England for a few days. Might have had some jet lag. I don't know.
Some celebratory pints.
Yeah, that was an oversight on my part. I mean, crazy the amount of travel that guy does. I didn't realize his whole family still lives in England. I don't know if they moved back or if they ever lived in the States or not. But he basically, after his win, went home for basically a week and then came back. And this guy, just an absolute, there was that video about his routine from a day-to-day perspective. Like, just a true professional that's investing in his game, and it shows at 45. There's a lot of other guys at 45 that basically are just holding on for dear life until they can get to the Champions Tour, and he's like, no. But yeah, he finished T37. It's a weird tournament to pick for. Anytime you have a 2 or 3 course tournament, it's very difficult, and there is a lot of luck of the draw. And I'm not claiming that here, but there is a luck of the draw of which course you're getting on which day. And it was a weird week for Pebble. Obviously, the lot of lift clean in place throughout the tournament. You got the Pro-Am. That could play a whole other part. Who's your Pro-Am partner throughout that whole thing? Could be a nightmare too. I've been hard on this tournament for a number of years from the past. So pre-COVID, this tournament, I hated this tournament.
Yeah.
Because you'd watch it and you have Bill Murray in a bunker laying down, and then you're showing what's his name, Larry the Cable Guy hitting shots. And I don't think I saw one shot basically other than maybe a Travis Kelce shot all weekend, like all week. And I watched way too much of this golf tournament.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a good job. I think Pebble's sick. I think Spyglass is sick. I think there's some holes out there that obviously aren't using the land the best they can, but it is what it is. And that stretch of kind of like 3 through 10 is that's some of the best golf in the world.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like 6, 7, 8 are. I don't even know how they came up with that idea, like to go way up that hill and that super blind shot. If you made that now up, you're like, this is a stupid golf.
Oh yeah,
right. But it's all. And then 7 can play 60 yards to
200,
feeling like it 200. So it was an entertaining tournament.
And yeah, obviously, as you say, with the weather yesterday, that kind of threw a spanner in the works, and at the end of the day, Colin Morikawa got the job done, and it was a pretty.
That mean?
What's that?
A spanner in the works.
A spanner in the works, like a cat amongst the pigeons, like it was unpredictable. You didn't.
You've never heard that?
All right, welcome to New Zealand vocabulary.
Kiwi talk.
Yeah, but it was unpredictable.
What's a spanner?
A wrench.
Okay. Okay. There we go. I got it. Okay. There we go. Sorry, I ut you off. I was going to let it go, and I was like, I need to get back to that
You looked
one.
at me. I was like, did I say something weird?
Yeah,
I did, but but yeah, Colin gets the job done, and let's say it was an eventful last hole because he was in the final group. Jacob Bridgman, who was actually in the lead at one point, kind of fell apart at the end. Hit his second shot. Like I didn't actually see the shot. I saw where he ended up, like way long, way left, down on the pebbles, literally.
Yep.
Tried to hit it off the pebbles, put it into the water, went back. I think ended up taking his fourth shot where he originally took his fifth shot where he originally took his second, and made an amazing bogey. But it was 19 or 20 minutes in between Colin's tee shot and his second shot, and he's tied. He has to make birdie to win the tournament, and he gets it done. So kudos to Colin. I've been a fan of Colin in the past. I've been pretty indifferent to him recently. I feel like he's been
kind of a bitch last year.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty. I was going to say childish, like something a little bit more diplomatic. And I think he's just kind of rubbed some people up the wrong way. And again, like we're sitting here from our couches, it's easy to criticize, but it's part of the job. It's part of the job. But I was first win since 2023, which I was glad to see.
Yeah, I mean, I asked a few people what he's like, and one of those guys that no one dislikes. Everyone likes him. He's good. Nice to see. I don't think he's back to that, 2 majors, allegedly kind of COVID majors. They are what they are. But those 2 majors in that 2-year stretch there, first top 10 since last June. So just was a dog down the stretch, missing the cut at the Scottish Open and then the Open, and then basically
horrible Ryder Cup.
Yeah. And, he was kind of channeling in. I think he's always got a kid coming. So we got, perspective talk coming up and all that nonsense, which I get. I say it's nonsense. It's real, but whatever. But he's a guy that you want. We need more dudes. We need more bad guys out there. And right now, Scotty's the only bad guy. Like he's a bad guy. Right? He's out there. A guy that shoots, what did he shoot? Even on the first day. I think he was even through even through 26 holes on the tournament. That's more than 25%. Like 35% of the tournament?
Between this past weekend and the Waste Management, he's basically contending for golf tournaments, playing 3 rounds at the moment.
It's basically, when you see those videos have you ever seen that video of the baseball stadium and they have the one guy starts racing and then like the flash guy.
What do they call him? The freeze?
The freeze.
The freeze. Yeah.
He's the freeze.
Yeah,
right?
he's the freeze.
He's like, all right, you guys get going. And the freeze is lost. And I think he might want to just start his whole, start running a touch earlier right now.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's scary. It's so scary that a guy can get, like I said, I think it was 26 holes, even par, and finish, what he finished, 19 under.
20
under.
Next, eagled the last.
63 on the last day. And
that win too?
Yeah, he's just so nasty.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, and bad guy in the best possible way.
Yeah.
We'll get on to this week's picks because I am glad to say that right now I've got a $2 million, just over a $2 million lead on you. So, but of course, look, that can all change in the course of a weekend. We've got obviously Pebble is a signature event coming up this weekend. So you pick a winner, all of a sudden it's completely channels flipped. So
I do got a few more things on this tournament though. Just a
on
couple.
Pebble?
Yeah, I think like when we got Bridgman on Sunday and Saturday up the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys that they're talking about this on No Laying Up, and it's a really good thing for the average golf fan. You see a guy like that, and you're like, why isn't he winning? Well, he plays in all the signature stuff, right? Like he's a guy that if he wasn't playing the signature stuff, he'd be mopping up those alternate field events. So it's one of those guys that's gonna win. Like that guy is really good. Jake Knapp, obviously, as you picked, he's off to a very hot start.
He just needs to, both the Waste Management and Pebble, he needs to compete for 4 rounds. He's dropping off in that 4th round, but he's playing well.
Yeah, I don't know what Sam Burns did on 18, hitting 3-wood off the tee.
No, he hit an iron off the tee.
Iron off the tee.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was you. Like, are you going for the paycheck? Or are you going for?
He was going for the paycheck because he was 2 strokes down. He had to make eagle. Yeah, it was a weird choice.
Minwoo Lee was being a little bit of a bitch this weekend too, with some of the stuff. Wouldn't hit his ball at certain times. Taking forever to play some holes. Tommy Fleetwood, still really don't know what's up with those pants. I get maybe.
Well, he's gone fully like independent now. He was wearing Pebble Beach gear earlier in the week.
Let's get him a hat. Let's get him one of our hats. Yeah, no, he was rocking just the pro shop.
Yeah,
just a backpack Barry.
It was awesome.
Yeah. But no, overall, really, really fun tournament. Rory, I don't know if you watched that triple bogey he had on Saturday. Or was it Sunday?
I think it was Saturday.
Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
And still shoots even par, and it was the most chaotic round. If you look, par, birdie, birdie, triple, birdie, birdie. Like, that is you. That is you in a nutshell. And then a random bogey, a couple more birdies, and then doubling the last and breaking his golf bag on the way out. Like,
oh, sick.
That reminded me.
Didn't see the broken golf bag.
Yeah. Well, I don't know
that
if
is me.
did. That was just you.
I was at Pebble Beach.
Yeah. So that is my Cole Atkinson round of the week. I might be looking for those each week. There's a scorecard that just reminds me of you.
Yeah. And not in a particularly good way.
Yeah. Just like a lot of birdies and some chaos in between. And in the end, a really good score that you're like,
you take any day of the week.
You take it. You would have taken it if you said it on the first hole, but if you knew how many birdies you made, you'd be like, what's going on? So, but yeah, overall good week. Love Pebble, and we get the US Open there in 2027.
Yeah.
So hopefully the conditions are a little different. Obviously they'll firm it up.
Yeah.
I do worry. What was the last time Gary Woodland was pretty low?
I can't remember what year that was.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah.
So I think it should have a U.S. Open. I think they have the ability to. I think they'll probably add some new tees and some different things on the course to change it up. And the rough will probably be extremely long. And
it'll be a very different Pebble to what we saw this past weekend.
It will be, and that's the cool thing about Pebble is they can change it pretty quickly. So I enjoyed the tournament. Looking forward to seeing. You always look forward to seeing Pebble, and it's one of those ones where forever I was like, I probably wouldn't pay to play it if I was there. And I've started to grow. It's grown on me a lot.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to come in with a bit of an alternative take. And you're going to hate this because we're going to talk about something that I probably talk about too much and you don't like to talk about. But anyway, I'm going to talk about it. I thought Pebble was, and look, the weather had a lot to do with it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very somber. I thought it was a very somber tournament. Not a lot going on. The golf course was great. The golf was great. But we can't deny it. Something else happened this weekend. And Anthony Kim won on LIV, 3-shot win. He was in the final grouping. He shot 9 under, so 9 birdies, no blemishes on the scorecard, and beat out John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau by 3 strokes at LIV Golf Adelaide. Now, first of all, in my opinion, this is exactly like, again, we've spoken about LIV to death. In my opinions, I don't think your opinions on LIV have changed. However, this is exactly what golf needed. They needed a bad guy. and if you want to talk about bad guys, Anthony Kim was a legitimate bad guy.
To himself.
To himself. Exactly. That's what I mean. I mean, you've all seen the pictures, right? The nose, the eye, all of it. And his story, 16 years in between wins. He's won 3 times on the PGA Tour, last one in 2010, disappeared off the face of the earth in 2012, and obviously did a shitload of drugs. And it did not treat him well. Obviously, it wouldn't. And came back to LIV, kind of got a lifeline from Greg Norman in 2024, I think. Came back onto LIV, got relegated, and it was only a few months ago that he made his way back onto LIV through the qualification tournament. He was still a wild card, and now with Patrick Reed departing, got his chance to be a part of Dustin Johnson's 4 aces. Now, look, I put aside everything I thought about LIV because I watched the highlights of this, and it was fucking sick, man.
Oh, he had some unreal shots.
It was, and if you see the 18th hole, people 100 deep lining around him, and if you compared that to Pebble, it was night and day. Now, again, I'm not saying it was a better tournament.
I mean, it's the only tournament for that
in Australia
because it's Australia.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. But
Australians want to party, and LIV sets it up for that. Yeah.
But I couldn't, to be honest, I couldn't help, stirring a bit of emotion, like seeing it. Like if you, whether you're a fan or not, or if you hate, just watch Anthony Kim's story, because for him he beat 2 legitimately top 20 golfers in the world.
Oh, they're top 5 golfers.
Yeah,
in the world, for sure.
Yeah. And I just thought it was awesome. So
absolutely unreal.
When I watched that and I compared it to Pebble, I was kind of like, man. And again, like it's summer in Australia. You know, it's different. I'm sure the weather plays a big part, but I'll give it where it's due. Looked like a great event from Liv down there in Adelaide, and Anthony Kim, like you. It's, from my perspective, impossible not to root for the guy. And who knows now? Now, can't talk about Liv without tearing them apart a little bit.
Well, let me chat a little bit about Anthony Kim here, because when I first started getting into golf, Anthony Kim was at his peak. So 2009-ish, 2010-ish. He fresh off competing deep into the Masters, that Ryder Cup where he ran around with the flag. And when he dropped off the face of the earth, everyone just assumed it would be for a little bit. And there was always the rumors. And I remember when we were doing the pod, when I was doing the T-Talk podcast as well, Scott, every once in a while, would be like, I was chatting with his old coach, and like they ran into him. Here's a swing, but like he'll never play because of this insurance policy, yada, yada, yada. And like that was never confirmed or anything. And I remember early on with Liv started, I was like, they got to go get Anthony Kim, right? Like, who knows where this guy is, but if there's an insurance policy, that's the guy. And like, I wasn't alone. I think a ton of fans from that area thought that. Little did I know was this guy was still heavy into drugs when Liv started. Like it's been
very recent.
I think he's only 2 and maybe 3 years sober at this point. And then obviously more and more details are coming out. I believe a documentary might be coming out, and if they're doing it, I really hope it's like a full-on tell-all. Like, I want to see this guy ripping lines and porta potties at like whatever, right? Like I want to see some deep stuff. But no, it was so obviously I was like, oh, Anthony Kim's 5 back. Like, it's really good. He's off playing really, really well this year. But he's 5 back to those 2 giants.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting into work the next day and checked my phone. I was like, what the fuck? Anthony Kim, what? He shot 9 under. I was like, complete shock. So I obviously put the highlights on the TV, and he was unbelievable.
The putter was hot.
I do think the guy needs obviously he's gone through a lot, but like his Twitter and some of the stuff he posts on Instagram.
We're gonna, we have to separate that because I think
know
a lot of people
you try to, but it's just like it's an eye roll thing. We don't need to get into immigration of the United States and all that, but like I'm pretty sure his parents were immigrants, and now he's like, so it's he's a Trumper. Let's just say, he's a big Trumper, whichever. But like, I think some humility goes a long way. My favorite tweet of the weekend, though, comes down to Ryan French. He tweeted out, tomorrow the PGA Tour is set to announce any player that is a 3-time winner on PGA Tour fired up the Ryder Cup by running around with a flag, then disappeared for 12 years, got signed by Liv, played like crap, yet defied the odds, and won returning members program. Which I thought was hilarious.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
If for the little amount of points that Liv is getting, this guy went from, at the end of 2025, he was 1800th in the world. I think they stopped tracking around 2500, and he's up to 203, which is insane. There's guys lower than him that you have won within the last 2 years, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, great story. But
the next question is how many world ranking points does he need to make it in the top 50 and play at the Masters? Because, and the reason I say that is they couldn't make it a non-live moment. They had to. So David Ferrity said, this is the greatest comeback in all of sports ever. And I just thought, come on, man. Like, it's not.
It's up there. I would argue it's up there. How many people?
So let me rattle off some.
Okay.
Let me rattle off some.
I'm just thinking from like a 12-year gap to compete with some of the best, and it's 1 week, and it's not a PGA Tour event. It's 54 players, whatever. I don't even know. They could have a full field at this point. It's lit. They change the rules all the time, but
okay. Muhammad Ali. I think his comeback's better than Anthony Kim. George Foreman, boxer. Got kicked out of boxing, came back at 46 years old. And
I thought when he came back with the grill.
No. No, when he came back at 46 years old and won the world heavyweight title.
Well, that was just he needed to sell some grills out there. Yeah.
You've got people like Bethany Hamilton had her arm bitten off by a shark and came back and won on the World Surf
You only
League.
need your feet to surf.
Yeah.
So. I'm on Anthony Kim there.
Now, well, here's a golf-to-golf comparison. Is Anthony Kim's comeback better than Tiger at the 2019 Masters? Very different timelines, very different circumstances.
It's different. I think there's a lot of equals there, but we're talking about the Masters. Obviously, that's going to be bigger.
Yeah.
And we're also talking about the greatest player of all time. And
winning arguably the greatest tournament of all time. Well, not
second
greatest tournament of all time.
In my eyes.
Yeah.
For most people, yes, the Masters is the best. But yeah, I don't think it's better than that.
It's up there anyway. But for them to just kind of unequivocally on the broadcast.
A lot of things both of them did to themselves in those situations. Yep. So yeah, okay. Yeah.
But they didn't even mention Tiger on the broadcast.
So I'll give you 2 so far.
You had a lot of other ones. Andre Agassi, Monica Seles.
Was Andre Agassi because his hair fell out?
Well, Andre Agassi
they saw he had a wig on.
I think he had a drug problem.
Yeah, he was ripping meth pretty hard.
He disappeared for a long time and came back and won 2 majors.
His book's sick if you haven't.
Here's a funny one: Lance Armstrong. Can't put that one in there. That one's got a. Sorry, you just can't put that one in there.
Did Lance win after?
He won a shitload after. He won 5. No. I can't remember. Did he win 5 or 6 total? But yeah, he got found out, and basically all of them he was doping. So there was no legitimate wins in there. Michael Jordan?
No,
better. Anyway, so look, it's probably up there, But anyway, I'll round all that out because we've got to get to an interview. We've got to get our picks done. But it was an exceptional weekend from Anthony Kim, rooting for the guy. And I must admit, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch live highlights. I've never done that before in my life.
No, I haven't either. So I agree. It was awesome. So yeah, I mean, is it the best of all time? It's top. It's got to be a top 3 story in golf.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Outside of I'm trying to blank Tiger. No,
Ben Hogan.
Ben Hogan, thank you. I was gonna cry if I couldn't get there. But yeah, no, it was awesome to see. I hope it continues. It would be nice to see him keep going up the ranking, and then end of the year, if he's like, hey, I'm out, I'm gonna try to go back to the PGA Tour, the full circle moment. That would be really cool. Again, he's not young either. What is he, 40?
He's 40.
40, right?
Yep.
So he's got like 5-6 years to basically make it. And
who
knows where this guy goes? He's probably got enough money now, but imagine him on the Champions Tour one day. Guy with long hair and just a bunch of sleeve tattoos on the Champions Tour. That'd be sick.
I also didn't realize, did Liv bring back the shorts? I thought they went back to the pants, but there were a bunch of guys playing in shorts this weekend.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought they went back to the pants.
Yeah,
shorts are sick. I'm fine with shorts on the tour,
especially in that heat. Anyway, let's look at. We're going to get on the interview with Hayden shortly, but as we have to, we've got to look forward to this weekend at the Genesis Invitational. Of course, back at Riviera this year after temporarily shifted to Torrey last year because of the fires. So looking forward to that.
I hate Torrey. Riv, I love Riv. Riv is such a sick golf course. I think the ladies have a major at Riv this year. So
oh, really?
I'm not mistaken.
Well, we'll be picking for that too, won't we?
So Riv is awesome. One of those courses where, again, we're going to be in prime time as well. It's probably a top 5 non-major course for me.
Looks incredibly tough. Very tough.
It's awesome. It's, of course, you're never going to ever play. Just the elite of the elite.
That we spoke about Mito Pereira's loss. That's where the PGA Championship wasn't it, when he lost?
No, he was
somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Yeah, I don't even think there's any water at Riv, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought there was that creek down the right. I'm thinking of a different course then.
I think you're thinking of a different course.
I think of a different course.
Think that was at Riv. No. It wasn't at Riv. I don't think.
Interestingly enough, I don't know why I saw this, but the sponsors exemptions this week: Tony Finau, Max Homa, Adam Scott, Tom Kim. Tom Kim's another guy who's
Kim competed there a few years back. Adam Scott won it a few years back. Max Homa won there, obviously being from LA, saying he's basically, I think he said, like, outside of the Masters is like the number one tournament I wanted to win. I don't know if you remember watching that. Was crying after and like just so emotional, and that's what made so many people Max Homa fans. So happy to see Max got in the field, and hopefully he does something with it. I won't be picking him, but
no, I won't be.
Yeah, he needs to get going.
Yeah. And we were just talking about Data Golf. The number one guy, not in the context of the tournament this week, but if you look at Riviera, the golf course, and whose game suits it the best, according to Data Golf, is actually Ryan Fox, my buddy Ryan Fox. We'll not be picking Ryan Fox this week, unfortunately.
Interesting.
But yeah, let's get into the picks. This is my pick this week.
Sure.
And very tempted to take Scotty because it is my pick. It is a signature event, but I have already taken Scotty once. It's a long season. So I'm going to pick Rory this week. I think Rory's had a slow-ish start to the year, but as you say, a few ups and downs. I think he's going to be up for it this week. Ball strikers course. I think the only pick better than Scotty is than Rory is probably Scotty. So I'm picking him to go low.
Wow. Okay. I didn't see you taking Rory. He hasn't played the greatest here lately.
Let's just stop there for a second, because every week you're like, oh, this guy placed this last year. This guy missed the cut last year. And every time I pick the guy, I've beaten you. I'm just saying.
There's leading up to something.
Okay, sorry. Go.
It's fine.
Start again.
No, it's all good. It's all good. If you're gonna leave him for me, I'll just take him. I'll take Scotty.
Wow.
I'll take the duel at Riv between those two. It's hard not to. Again, it's a signature event. I don't think this guy's winning 4 majors this year. 3, 2.
Yeah.
And even so, how are we going to guess which one? So I'm saving Scotty for one other tournament this year. I don't even know if it lines up with my picks or not. But yeah, he's so hot. Like, he's hot right now. If he gets off to a good Thursday and he decides I'm calling him the freeze from now on. If the freeze,
Scotty the freeze
wants to just start running right away, he's gonna blow these guys out of the water.
Yeah.
So just give me Scotty. He's going to be top 5.
So I actually, with my pick with Rory, I figured I would kind of bait you into that, and I will probably lose this week. I just hope I don't lose by too much. My strategy with baiting you in there was you can only pick Scotty once more for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it was between him. I was liking Matsuyama. He's off to a hot start, but I just never know what the hell to do with that guy.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at Patrick Cantlay too. He always plays well here. He's played decent this week. I just hate the guy. One punch him in the face. Or hire me to caddy for you. But yeah, at a signature event, you left me Scotty sitting there. I'm going to take him.
Fair enough. The other guy that I was considering, and I just couldn't bring myself to because the numbers said go with him, but the gut said no just because of the stage of the event. But a guy who's hot this year is Ryo Hisatsune. He has been I think he's finished top 10 every event this year.
Yeah.
Maybe bar one.
Antihistamine, as I call him, because he's never sick. That guy's just...
Sorry, 3 top 10s. 3 top 10s.
No, he's got to be one of the hottest players in the world.
Yeah, but signature event, Riviera, it's one of those guys where you don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, okay, so we have Rory v. Scotty this weekend. That'll be a fun one to watch.
Fun battle.
It will be a fun one to watch.
I think if you didn't pick Rory, I wouldn't have taken Scotty. I wouldn't have taken Rory either, but I just think that for an entertaining sake to watch on Sunday, it'll be fun. It'd be awesome if those two came down the stretch.
Yeah, that would be.
Those two in the final group would be a dream Sunday.
That would be absolutely sick. Well, that's it for the intro. Really looking forward to our interview, and we've got him waiting on the line here. So, Steph, you know Hayden a lot better than I do, so I'll let you bring Hayden in here.
Yeah, kind of talked about it at the start. I don't think we need to go any further. We'll let Hayden kind of tell his story here. So I guess without further ado, Hayden Underhill. Hayden, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Thank you guys for having me on. Really appreciate it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Looking
really appreciate you doing the interview. Obviously, you haven't done a lot of these interviews. Before we kind of get into everything, why don't we just take it way back? How'd you get into golf?
Well, I was, I don't know, probably around 10. Went out playing golf with my grandparents. Took me out to play at their home course at the time was Inverary. So they took me out, and I was dressed all sorts of colorful ways with plaid and stripes on at the same time, not really looking the part, and I wasn't very good. They told me and my parents that I should take up a different sport. So we've definitely came a long way from there, and it's just kind of cool to see the progress from that day. So
I remember your grandma telling me that early on that they thought you were playing the wrong sport. So what was your junior career like? Playing, at what point did you start playing tournaments? How quickly did you get good?
Probably started playing tournaments around like 13 or 14. Kind of started to take off a little more serious around that age, and then started with the St. Lawrence Tour. And I think I played my first event at Amherst, and that was real. That was my first ever tournament. Hadn't even played in like club championships or anything like that. And I know I shot over 100. And I mean, at that point, playing regular rounds with my buddies, I didn't shoot over 80 at Amherst, but it was just tournament nerves. Never been in that situation before, and then from there, I mean, started to play more events regularly, played a lot of the St. Lawrence Tour, won a couple events on there, and then after that, then I started to learn about GAO stuff and got into the U17s, and then I ended up playing in the U19s a couple times as well.
There's a good lesson there for some of our guys, some of our friends that, don't want to play tournament golf. Right? Like you said, you're shooting in the 70s all the time. Go out to your first tournament, shoot 100. Hey, you just got to get it done sometimes. Get the nerves out of the way. You don't know what it's going to be like to compete unless you put yourself in that situation.
No, exactly. I mean, I've never been in a situation like that. I mean, with no pressure, you can go out there at Amherst and it's not really anything too crazy. You just go out and not even really think your way around the golf course. And then you go and you start putting pressure on it with, oh, this putt matters or this shot matters and you can't hit it here, I can't hit it there. And you're really taking into account all the things that will cause you problems when realistically they shouldn't be a problem. So
just another round of golf. At what point did you realize, maybe playing college golf, like I'm actually pretty damn good at this game? Was there a certain point where you're like, okay, maybe this is an avenue I should explore? Was it a conversation with a coach? What was that turning point for you?
I think kind of from the start, once I started playing competitively after probably say the first year, kind of like once I got settled into the atmosphere of tournaments, I kind of realized like, hey, I can kind of compete and I want to see what I can do. And I knew college golf was an avenue. And then as I started playing more competitive events, I was like, yeah, that'd be something cool I'd like to pursue and see what I can get to. And I mean, at that age, obviously you have the biggest dreams, want to play for like Texas, Alabama, all the big schools. And you quickly come to realize how good you have to be to play at those schools. And then after a while, then I got into contact with Scott McLeod. We started having lessons, and he helped me along the way with my avenue and everything like that. So he's been a big help. He was a big help as well, and still is. And I mean, he was. It was just been an ongoing process from we'll say my second year of tournaments.
So, what was the recruiting process like for you? Obviously, you weren't a big name coming out of Canada, and there was a lot of names just within this area of obviously, players with maybe a better record in tournaments at that point. What were basically your options going into at that first year?
I mean, my going into the recruiting process, it was really difficult time for international recruiting in general, just because it was going through COVID. I graduated high school in COVID, and then I was trying to get recruited to go to a different country during COVID, which they're all pretty hesitant of, oh, well, we can't spread this, blah, blah, blah. So it made it difficult. And I was coming down to the end. I mean, there was a couple schools. I was talking to one school. They were really interested. And then they just, I mean, I'm assuming they found someone else and then just conversation just stopped. And then after that, and then University of Southwest reached out kind of coming down towards the end when I had to make a decision if I was just going to stay in Canada or go down south. And they just reached out at the right time. And I thought, yeah, it's an opportunity. Let's take it and try and see where we can go from there. So
What was that first kind of few weeks? I think Cole and I could probably both speak to that first month of leaving school. I was 3 hours down the road. I doubt anyone listening has any fucking idea where the University of Southwest is, and I doubt you did either. I don't even think you even knew New Mexico was a state at that point.
it was just a little hole in the wall town. Basically, there was a Walmart there, a couple restaurants, and a golf course. And there was two universities. There's a really good junior college there, but our school was really, if you blinked, you'd miss it driving by. It was small, not really standing out or anything like that. And first, when we first got down there, my mom came with me, and then Dayton, the other kid, was his mom came. We were both from Canada, so we kind of traveled together. And that first week was just a shit show. We had flat tires and almost fires in the hotel rooms, power outages. We had just about everything you could think of in our first week there in this little town, New Mexico, with really no idea what's even going on. And then kind of once we got school started, got into our dorms and stuff, it settled down a little bit, but still had some COVID hiccups and stuff like that. Not myself, but a couple other players ended up testing positive. We had weekly testing basically to travel to tournaments, and it was just a whole mess of everything that could go wrong probably went wrong that week.
Yeah, what was the so you obviously get into playing tournaments. Tell us about your first ever college tournament. What was
Honestly,
the nerves like? How'd you feel going in and what ended up happening?
honestly, I mean, I took it pretty similar to every other tournament playing in obviously provincial championships and stuff. It definitely helped. There was definitely some more nerves just because college golf's a different animal. No matter where you are, what division you are, there's good golfers everywhere. And I mean, I was thinking of like, oh, well, I need to play well and this and that, and kind of just got my first tee shot out of the way. It wasn't, I think I was in the left rough or something like that, but
Which is
got
rare
it
for
out of
you.
the way and just, yeah, rough isn't very common for me, but
Never miss a fairway, this guy.
got it out of the way and then just kind of settled my way into the round. I mean, played average, I'd say. I'm probably mid 70s, nothing special. Just got it around the golf course, and I remember the first tournament, though, was damn hot. I think it was like 125 degrees Fahrenheit with
Whew.
humidity on a 36-hole day. So it was 36-hole days are hell to begin with. They're just so slow and painful, and then you add that temperature in there, you're just dreading the whole day, basically just dragging your ass around for the last few holes.
Yeah, I think at this point, obviously, we're really burying the lead of what ended up happening when you were at your time at the University of Southwest, and obviously, it's a story that's been told, but you haven't really told it. So, why don't you kind of break down, obviously, you know, the story of how everything kind of ended there.
For sure. So that day, the tournament was fairly close. I think it was like an hour and a half drive or something like that from the school. So we were just going back and forth. And that morning we left real early. I think we left 4:30 or something like that to get there in time to start for 8 o'clock with time change and everything like that. And we got on the road, got there, played our 2 rounds, 36-hole day. I didn't play very well, so I was kinda not very happy with myself and just in the back of the van, just with my headphones on the way back. We stopped at a little shopping mall and got some Chick-fil-A for dinner, and we got carried on after that and went on our way home, and I was still not really saying much, just headphones on, minding my own business, and I did up down on my stats and stuff, marked them all down like our coach had wanted us to, and just got off the phone with my mom, and that's really one of the biggest things that I remember is shortly after we looked after the fact, kind of once everything had came back to, we looked at the phone call and it was about 5 minutes prior we hung up to the accident happening, and we were just kind of shocked at the timing of how that worked out and just how close it was too. I mean, I know it was enough for my parents to deal with as it was, but I don't think my mom would have done very well if she was still on the phone when it happened as well. So
Yeah, so for obviously those who don't know, the went through a terrible accident. You were one of the only people that were able to get out of the van, not by your own will, but kind of flew out of the van, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
Dayton was dragged out of the van while it was still on fire, and just obviously the rest of your teammates and your coaches passed in that horrific crash. Um, what was your next memory after that? Because it was obviously a long time. If I'm not mistaken, you were in a medically induced coma, correct?
yeah, yeah, I was.
How long were you in that?
I believe it was about 5 days, I believe. Numbers are still scratchy. I mean, it's
For
even though
sure.
it's been a couple years, numbers are still scratchy of how long it was. I mean, to me, it felt like a lifetime, but yeah, and then kind of after that, I mean, I don't remember a whole lot for coming up to that. And then I remember one of the girls who passed away's father came to visit me, Lacey Stone's father, Hayden. Funny enough, we had the same name. Um, they stopped by and we had a conversation, just sat and talked for quite a long time, and just was it was really nice just to get to talk with them. And I mean, it was very nice of them to show their support immediately after, even though they had lost their daughter and still showing support. I mean, same with all the other families were showing support and everybody around was showing support. I mean, but that's one of the first things I do remember is just having a conversation with the Stone family, and it was really nice. I mean, I've been told many things of what I did and things I said, but memory wise, I don't remember a whole lot up to that point.
So obviously, you wake up and you don't even know what happened, right? Like,
Right.
you don't even probably remember asking what has happened, I assume.
Yeah, no, I don't even like, at that point, I wasn't really even, like, thinking, like, I was just kind of like, "Where am I?" Like, "What's going on?" type thing, not even really of, like, "Why am I here? What's going on? What happened?" Whatever, it's just like, "Where am I?" Because like, at that point, I didn't have any clue of anything. It was just kind of wake up, and there you are with a bunch of people around you, doctors and my parents, so
What were all your injuries in the accident?
So I had a broken ankle. I had a bunch of facial fractures around my eye. I have a traumatic brain injury that will be forever unknown, and then a bunch of like road rash and stuff like that, and had other like cuts on my arms and legs and stuff from glass and the road and everything like that after I'd been ejected out.
Insane, man. Oh, absolutely insane. And to top it off, if I'm not mistaken, I was talking to your brother that day, and your parents are trying to get down there. It's still COVID, very difficult to get down there. And your brother is trying to come, and did he not get, he tested positive for COVID, couldn't even get
Correct.
down there to see you.
Correct. Yeah, he was. They were. I mean, my parents didn't even find out till the next morning. So like they called them that night. My parents never sleep with their phones in their room or anything like that. So they didn't really think anything of it when they woke up in the morning, just like, oh, spam call, like, don't worry about it. Like, and then my mom would drop my dad off at work because we were living in Amherst at the time and he worked at the fire department. So she'd drop him off there and he just was like, oh, I have two voicemails, and took a look at them and obviously got the news of like from the hospital saying that, hey, your son is here. Please give us a call at like your next moment that you can. And he obviously calls them back, and they kinda give him a brief breakdown because they can't share too much information at the time, and he hangs up the phone and calls my mom and just tells her she has to turn around, and he just didn't tell her what happened just so she can make it back safely, and because she probably wouldn't even been able to drive if she knew what had happened, and then
Yeah.
they went and kind of frantically packed and got everything together and headed to Toronto to get on a flight as soon as they could. And yeah, Drew, they all had to obviously do their COVID testing at the airport, and my parents both passed, but Drew got a positive result. But we think it was a false positive. But I mean, bad to say, but probably for the best that he wasn't able to be there because I don't think he would have handled it overly well. He's pretty queasy with stuff like that. So he might have ended up in a hospital bed too if he was there. So
Yeah, that's I mean, first of all, man, thanks for sharing all this. This is I don't think any of us can even imagine what it's like to, you know, have family go through something like that, let alone go through something like that, yourself. So obviously, you spoke a lot about physical injuries. Something like this obviously takes, again, can't imagine the mental toll that it takes on you. So as you kind of, you mentioned came out of this coma, I'm sure started, coming to, so to speak. What was that period like? Obviously there was, physical rehabilitation, but then the mental side of things. What are some of the things? Talk a little bit about that physical rehabilitation first, and then what are some of the things that have really, helped you get through this experience mentally?
To start, I mean, physical rehabilitation in the hospital, they had a lot of nurses, like PT nurses, everything like that. They'd help me every single day. They'd get me up moving, and even when I wasn't supposed to be up moving, I'd get up and walk around, and I'd set off the bed alarm 3 times a night because I'd just get up and walk around because I wasn't supposed to be on my broken ankle, but I'd just hop around on one foot, and they didn't really like that too much. I got yelled at a couple times, but they had tons of nurses always kinda getting me up and moving, and then they also had for my brain injury because 'cause they're just trying to get my brain active again. They had a bunch of, like, speech pathologist people coming in and just doing, I mean, it was very simple, like, there's very simple math problems and, like, draw a clock and stuff like that, very simple stuff that, I mean, to most people, would be like, "Well, that's kinda goofy, like, what's that gonna do for you?" But at that point, just with my brain injury, anything was possible. It was just trying to start small and work your way up. And I had a big talking problem where they called it verbal diarrhea, where I just ramble on and on about anything and everything I could to whoever would listen. And I mean, the one day I talked to my mom about a cup of iced tea for I think 45 minutes. So and she just
Which
sat
is
there and ate it
like,
like a champ. So
if people know you, like you're not the first one to ever talk, right? Like would you say you're kind of a little bit more introverted and you're not usually the first one to just get out of a conversation. It shows how much like that clearly had an effect on you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I have moments where I talk, I mean, in friend groups or whatever, where I talk a bunch or whatever, but like in a big group of people or something, I'm not just going to start chatting to everybody and anybody. I just kind of wait till a conversation starts that I can either join or someone talks to me. So just kind of, it was basically the exact opposite. And I mean, it was just, I don't know how my parents dealt with it. And I'm sure they needed breaks every so often to just get away from it and stop listening to me talk about iced tea or the blinds of the hospital room for hours, but I mean, I guess in a situation like that, they didn't really care. They were just happy they could be with me, so
Yeah,
Do
for
you
sure.
do you remember when it all kinda settled for you, where it kinda like, "Oh, I now truly understand what happened?"
I don't really I mean, I think it was kind of it settled after a while. For the first couple days, I was still super confused, like, not really taking a grasp of what my parents were telling me because probably, 1, didn't wanna believe it, and 2, just the state I was in really like wasn't where you're kinda comprehending everything that was being said to you, so you just kind of whatever, went along with it, and but then, like, I think kind of after the first couple days of getting it explained to me and everything like that, and then I saw I think it was I don't remember what term it was. They had a flag up at I think it was Valero, Texas or something like that, I believe. They had, our USW flag, and I think that kind of I was just watching on the TV, and I think that kinda just really set it in that, like, yeah, this is real, like, this has actually happened, and you kinda can't just keep not believing it.
Yeah. So you spoken a little bit about some of the physical challenges, and then you alluded to there, you sort of um, overcome, I guess, the shock of this thing happening, and then it almost sounds like, okay, you get over that shock, and then it's you kind of go into another battle of the, I guess, the acceptance,
Mhm.
of processing this entire thing. um, and for you now to have made it back, we mentioned in your senior year playing golf again. Tell us about some of those hurdles to amazingly get back to where you are today, and kind of some of the work you had to put in to get there.
It was just lots of work, and, I mean, there was as soon as I could, I was swinging a club again. I wasn't really I mean, that was my main goal sitting in the hospital was, like, I need to play golf again, and, I mean, I know most people, some of this might happen, they might say, "No, I'm not ever touching a golf club again. I don't even wanna think about golf ever." But, I mean, to me, that was the way that I could honor the people whose lives were lost and kind of carry them on, and so we all had the same dream, was to play professional golf, play good golf, do whatever we could in college, and that was the best thing I could think of was like, "Hey, let's just do it for them. I wanna make them proud and kinda carry them with me for everything that I do." I mean, even here, I have the date of the accident on my golf bag and a USW ribbon with me at all times, and I mean, a lot of people ask me like, "Oh, what's the date for?" out of confusion, and I explain it, and then it kinda sets in that of who I am, and I mean but then, like, some of the hurdles was just kind of the getting around the golf course. I mean, I walking the golf course wasn't easy at first. I mean, it took some time, a lot of 9-hole days, or not even 9-hole days, just go and play a few holes walking and then kind of work my way up, and then adapting my swing around my ankle because it's my left ankle, so it's my lead foot. So kind of adapting my swing around that and the limited hip mobility from wearing a walking boot for so long. There's just a lot of adjustments that need to be made to be kind of functional on the golf course. I mean, mine might not be the prettiest, but it worked to get me around the golf course until I could kind of get some strength back into it and then kind of work from there. So
Yeah, we started working together, um, at Golf Town at that point, kind of fresh once you were obviously ready to work, and, um, I remember chatting with you about, going back to school, and I was actually shocked that that's what you wanted to do. At what point did you decide, like, "No, there's unfinished business here, like, I'm not ready to quit on this yet?"
I think that was from the get go. I mean, I as soon as I was kind of alert and aware and starting to be mobile again, and I realized that I'd be able to swing a golf club again. It was, I'm going back to school. I don't care where, just not the same place. I'm going somewhere, and I'm gonna play college golf again because that's been my dream since I was 14, and I'm gonna continue to pursue that dream and carry on what I've already started. So.
What was that process like? Obviously, it must be a weird situation for you, being that obviously coaches know who you are for really all the wrong reasons, right? And I'm
Yeah.
sure there was a lot of recruiting going on, and you probably had to be very particular about the right fit at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was being closer to home was nice, that I could drive to where I am now and be accessible to see my parents, like, if they wanna come to tournaments, do whatever, where it worked like that. That was part of it. I mean, obviously, I wanted to go south where I could play golf all year round and do everything outside all year, but, like, it was definitely a difficult process. I mean, I sent out probably over 100 emails. I waited a year, and then but during that year, I was still sending out emails. Then I was waiting a year to go back to school, and I'd sent out tons of emails, and I had to basically, in my emails, it was just explaining who I am, kind of my story, what had happened, and I had played in some tournaments, giving them those results to prove that I still am capable of playing at a competitive level. And then kind of, I didn't get a whole lot of answers. I feel like either their schools were full, and I think a lot of people just weren't sure how to answer that because they like, obviously, every college coach knew what had happened, but they were kind of they put them in, like, a weird place of, like, "What do I even say to this?" Like, so, and then I think I texted Alec, one of my friends from home here, and I said, "Hey, is your coach still recruiting for next year?" He says, "I think so, but send her an email and see," and kinda went from there, came on a visit and really liked the place, and here we are, so.
Yeah.
What was that? Was there a round of golf in that 2-year process where you're like, I got it again? Was there that clicking moment?
Um, I think there was a couple over towards, like, the later summer. After, because I was playing golf pretty quickly after, just I think
You're
just
playing in a
I
walking boot. I remember seeing swings with Scott in a walking
yeah,
boot. Yeah.
yeah, that was to no doctor's known information, I wasn't doing that, um but, yeah, I was making some swings and, just hitting wedges and short irons just to kind of keep the body moving and having a bit of an action, so I was doing that, and then I ended up playing the flagstick that year as well, the Open. In a cart, which was nice, made it a lot easier because weather was miserable as always.
Mm.
And then after that, I kind of just kept playing. And towards as the summer went on, played in a couple more events and stuff like that. And then I think it was just a fun round at Cat or something. I think I made 9 birdies and had 4 bogeys, so it was 65. But I kind of was like, yeah, I can still do this. Like, I'm not just hacking it around out here and kind of putting together a number. I mean, I was like, yeah, I mean, 9 birdies, I can still get it around a little. So.
Yeah.
Was that emotional? Like, was there that emotional, like, you get in the car and you're like, "All right,
I'm
like,
back.
yeah, I'm back."
Yeah, it was kind of more of like almost like a
Relief?
goosebumpy
Yeah.
feel and a relief of like, holy shit, I can still play. Like, it's not just like like, you get it around, you shoot 70, whatever. Like, it was kind of more of like, yeah, you still got it. You can hit good shots, make a bunch of birdies, and make putts, do whatever, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Because so you spoke a little bit about, you're in the hospital. You had to obviously, with the injuries and your brain, there was, sounds like, relearning speech, relearning a lot of this. On the physical side, was there, you spoke a little bit about your ankle. Did you sort of have to, was a matter of relearning the golf swing again, or sort of rehabilitating, working around things, changing the golf swing in a way that was conducive to, like you mentioned, the ankle and the hip mobility and stuff like that. Talk a little bit about that process.
It wasn't like a relearning the golf swing. It was more of like a adaptation and making appropriate adjustments and getting comfortable with it without trying to fall back into what I was doing before. I mean, it had been a while, but like obviously you still have your habits. So it was just kind of making sure you just did what you were supposed to do to create an outcome, not falling back into old habits, which didn't work with the reduced mobility and the ankle and everything like that. So it was definitely it took a while to kind of get comfortable with it and make it work, and then it's just a lot of rehabbing the ankle to get it back to get some strength back in it and get mobility back in the hip, so I could kind of get back to a better motion of swing with a little bit more strength and mobility.
One of the things, and I think everyone deals with trauma differently, but one of the things I always found, and I think it's because it's how I would deal with it too, is the way you have always dealt with it is through kind of laughter and some of
Yeah,
the jokes that you have made where like, because I know you, I can laugh, but I would say 90% of people would be so uncomfortable with some of the jokes that you'd make. Is that just your personality of how you've handled what you've gone through? Obviously you're not always that way, and there's probably, those very low lows, but how is that process for you of how you just handle that situation, basically? That was a terrible worded question, but I think you know what I mean.
yeah, I mean, it's like it's laughter, I mean, to me is the easiest way to do it because I mean, yes, there's always lows and days that suck and where it's just on your mind, you can't kind of get rid of the thought. And I mean, it's always on your mind. It's not something that ever goes away. It's just sometimes the days weigh on you a little bit more or whatever like that. But I mean, the laughter is kind of the easiest way to kind of break me away from, like, the lows, I guess. It kind of obviously laughed, keeps your spirits a little bit higher. I mean, yeah, I've probably made some jokes that make people uncomfortable, but, like, it's just how I deal with it, and I mean, I pre-warn people. I mean, on the team, I pre-warn people. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll probably make jokes about it. You'll probably feel uncomfortable for the first while, but, there will still be jokes." I mean, I can't really help it. That's just the best way I can deal with it without either bringing everybody down with me just because 'cause I'm not in a good mood or something like that, just kind of keeping myself in a positive mindset as well as kind of not putting it onto a bunch of other people as well.
Do you remember what you said to the old man at Golf Town that asked you why you had that scar on your head?
Oh, that was a stupid day. The the amount of stupid comments I got at Golf Town was astronomical.
Yeah.
Um, something was I forget what I said to him, but he was asking if I got in a hockey fight or something. I said, "No, I was in a car accident actually," or something like that.
You
And
said, and I quote, "No, I flew out of a car 100 yards." And he went silent and walked out the door.
yeah, he backpedaled pretty quick after that one.
He was clearly terrified. I think it might have clicked. He probably knew the story at that point.
Well, I mean, it
What
didn't help that there was a picture of me with the story right beside my head on that little plexiglass
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and that there was that moment where I was like, okay, he's doing the best he can with what he's got at this point, but it's one of those ones that always makes me laugh when I think of it. So obviously you end up picking a school, you end up going to Wisconsin Parkside there. What was that first tournament back like?
It was, I don't even really know how to word it. It was a lot of different emotions. It was excitement. It was a little sad, mad. It was basically every emotion in the book, kind of just mad at what had happened, upset about what had happened, but excited to kind of see what I could do with it and represent the people who'd lost their lives and carry them along with me. I mean, it was first tee, I definitely kind of had some chills and goosebumps and just kind of it was kind of a out of world experience, I guess, if you can put it, if that even makes sense. But was just and then went along. I think first round I shot a 73 or 72, par 71. And then I shot 69, no, 72, 69, and was in the lead by 3 after my first 36-hole day back in college golf. And I mean, it was didn't get the job done, but it was still just kind of it was an unbelievable experience. I mean, to be like, "Hey, I'm here back in college golf, and I'm leading a golf tournament the first 2 rounds back." So, it showed me that I deserved to be there, that I could be there, and that I could compete. But it was definitely a very fun experience and awesome to kind of my parents were there as well, which was even better. And a lot of the guys that I've known from Ontario junior events and stuff who played on another school, they were all like talking to me, saying, great job, whatever, because they'd all known the story and everything like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean that's a heck of a story. First tournament back. I mean, even just to be on the first tee is amazing, and to play like that is incredible. Obviously, for people watching, I watched you had a small segment with TSN on their second shot series with your friend Dayton, who was also in the crash. Which was, yeah. If you haven't seen it, definitely go back and watch it. But I thought that was incredible. Is you still keep in touch with Dayton? Do you still play Dayton? I presume he's different school now. Or tell us about how that relationship has changed or evolved.
For sure. I mean, we were always from the day we went to Southwest. We were always good buddies. Kind of similar personalities, hockey players when we were younger. Always cracking jokes, jabs, whatever, chirping each other whenever we could. And then, I mean, as it's gone on, we're still buddies. And I mean, like I said in the TSN thing, we're bonded for life, even though it's not the way we want it to be. Um, we don't talk every day, but we still talk. We could check up on each other, see how we're doing, see what's new. Give each other props when we've played well, had good events, stuff like that. And then we see each other usually in the summer at a couple events, stuff like that. And then so it's not an everyday conversation constantly ongoing, but we'll always check up on each other, and I'm sure there'll be a day where we do have a conversation, a heart to heart about kind of what's truly happened, but it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will someday coming.
Yeah, I mean, that can't be easy, right? It's like that's probably gonna be the hardest conversation to have at that point, right? Because it's the only other person that knows exactly what you went through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's the only guy that knows exactly what happened that night, and he's the only one that's gone through. I mean, obviously his injuries were different with his burns and everything like that. He had a totally different process, but we call it gone through a similar recovery process of the situation and getting back to a competitive level where he's excelling at Laurier right now in the OUA stuff, and he's playing great. And I'm back at school here, so
Yeah, and it's your last year, and you're a senior, you're a leader on the team, but you're also older than everybody on the team because you basically lost 2 years. What's your role now with the crew out there?
I mean, all the guys say I got unk status, whatever that means, but but yeah, I'm the old guy around here, and I mean, kind of just lead by example, show them. I told every freshman that came in this year, I was like, just so you know, this isn't going to be your usual junior event where you can show up an hour before, hit balls for 40 minutes, and then go to the first tee. We get one stall, and we get about 30 minutes to hit balls between the five or six of us. So you're gonna have to shorten down your warm ups, make the most of it, and get yourself as prepared as you can in that amount of time because you're ever adapting. Sometimes you get two stalls, sometimes you get one, sometimes you get 20 minutes, and sometimes you get a whole hour to make the most of it. So I'm like, you just got to be adaptable, and I try to pre warn them about what I can so they're mentally prepared where they can be, and then go from there. And I mean, obviously, the freshmen always have questions early, so I try to be there to answer what they want to know and help them wherever I can.
Yeah, so you mean obviously being a senior and like Stefan alluded to, older as well. Has that sort of, I guess, leadership role within the team? Is that something you sort of had your sights set on? Something that's happened naturally? Like, it sounds as though you've really fit well into that sort of leader role that a lot of these younger golfers need. So yeah, tell us about that. Is that did that kind of just happen, or have you seen yourself sort of wanting to be in a position like that?
I mean, I've always liked to be a leader. I mean, playing hockey, I love having a letter on my jersey, kind of being a leader for the group and kind of just helping wherever I can. And I never really was like, I'm going to be a leader on a golf team here or whatever. I kind of fell into the role as time went on. And I mean, even my first 2 years here, I've kind of, I guess, had some form of leadership, even though I wasn't a senior or anything like that. I think just people kind of took what I said with a little extra, uh, a little extra intention, I guess, just because of what I'd been through. I'd been through a lot different life experience than everybody, and I feel like kind of like more of a reality had set in of what life was worth and to value it and how to look at things. So I think a lot of guys kinda took that into consideration when I say things or anything like that, just because 'cause they'd realized I'd been through what I'd been through and kind of my view on how grateful I am to be here and what I get to do and get to play college golf, so
I was gonna ask you basically, and I assume that's it, is that like if anyone could take anything away from your story, is that what you'd hope someone would take away?
Just be as grateful as you can be for every day. I mean, tomorrow's never guaranteed. You don't know what any day is going to bring. So just be as grateful for every moment that you're in and just don't take anything for granted. I mean, enjoy everything you have, everyone you have, and just enjoy life. Don't just, yeah, that's about it. You can't second guess it. Just do what makes you happy and don't worry about what anybody else thinks or says about it. It's your choice, your life. Do what you want to do and make the most of it.
I love that. We got basically more months of school, and then it's time to go into the real world again.
Yeah.
What's your plan, right? Like, is obviously we had a lot of dreams to play pro. Is that still an option we're potentially looking at, or what's kind of next steps for you? I guess.
That'd be awesome. I mean, that's obviously still the goal is to compete at the highest level as I can. I mean, there's definitely still some work that has to be done and got to get the game in a really good spot to go out there and compete with those guys because everybody out there is unbelievable. So, but like after school, I mean, I think at some point I will get like my professional card, do some teaching stuff and everything like that. I mean, I'm looking to, I always like helping people with their swings and kind of just growing the game because obviously golf is who knows where it's ever gonna go. Some years it's the biggest thing in the world, and other years no one cares for it. So stuff like that, and then at some point I'd like to try to play professionally and give myself some time, get the game in a good position, and go from there. I mean, I'd rather be 30 years old, 35 years old, and say, "Hey, at least I tried," rather than be 35-year old at my desk job and say, "Shit, I should have tried." And like now I'm sitting here in a cubicle and bashing numbers, hoping for the best, like
Hey, you could always start a podcast.
it's true.
Look how well that's going.
Yeah.
So yeah, like senior year, last year playing college golf. Stefan asked you, a little bit about what you want to do next, but what sort of position are you in this year? Do you have some goals that you want to achieve on the golf course before you obviously finish up and graduate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, first semester for me didn't really go as I'd planned for my senior year, but still one more semester to go, kinda make the most of it, enjoy every moment, and play some good golf. I mean, I'd love to get another collegiate win and add that to the list of things, and I'd love to make it to some postseason play, to regionals, and we'll see, maybe we can make nationals as well, that'd be pretty cool in the final year, so that's the goals and see where it leads us. We have a pretty good team here, so see if we can get it going and have a run.
Yeah, rooting for you, man. Rooting for you.
Appreciate
Sweet.
it.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Really appreciate you doing this again. I, I mean, I guess from my perspective, my final question is just because this is obviously not something you've done before, and I'm sure you've had a lot of people ask you to do this, and I told you before is I would never have asked you. So, what's my final question is just like what's making you want to chat a little bit more about this now?
I think just I've had some time to fully kind of process everything that's happened and just have I guess, a reality check of life and kind of get my ducks in a row and get to a place where I guess I'm comfortable talking about it. I mean, obviously I did the thing with TSN and I mean, that was unbelievable and I'm really happy that I did that, but I've just kind of avoided talking about it and I don't know. I don't have an exact reason why. I think I was just kind of I don't just didn't really want to. I didn't want to get a bunch of attention on me. I mean, from day one, I don't want to be known as the accident kid. I'm still Hayden. I'm still a collegiate golfer. Yeah, I have a big ass scar on my forehead, but it's a part of who I am, but it's not everything that I am. So I've kind of
Mhm.
avoided that to kind of avoid being known as the accident kid or having the spotlight on me. Because I mean, I've never been that person who wants a bunch of attention or anything like that. I just kind of go with the flow. And I mean, obviously, I've known Steph for a while, and you guys asked me, and I thought, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. And I'm in a spot where I'm comfortable and ready to talk about it, and thought this was a good spot.
Just got in a bad hockey fight with the road, eh?
Exactly. Should have seen the other guy.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah.
No, just echo what Steph said, man. I said it before. Us, and I'm sure anyone who's listening can't even begin to imagine what it's like to have an event like that. So all I'll say, man, is thank you. We're glad you're here. We're glad you're not only here, you're out on the golf course, as you mentioned at the earlier on. Paying homage, paying your respects to your team members and your coaches and everyone that wasn't so lucky. So thank you, and we're rooting for you, man. Just glad you're here with us, and thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. It was a blast.
Yeah, go get a final win, buddy. You're due.
Do my best. I'm due.
Right. Yeah, we're due. All right, we'll chat soon.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Hayden. See you, man. Bye.
See ya.
Alrighty, that one that was great. That was heavier than the normal shitty banter we have.
Yeah, that was a lot. In a good way. I said I've been close with Hayden. Never actually had him go deeper than much. I still have my headphone in here. Go deeper than much, as I mentioned, really joking about it, to see him. Clearly he's done a lot of work, therapy, everything.
Yeah.
It's just one of those guys that even when he was going through that process, he didn't even bring it up, but even going through that process, he wasn't going like, hey, sympathy, bring me to your team. It was these are my results. This is how I've been playing. This is yada, yada, yada. Right. And he said it, he's always said it. Like, I don't want to be the accident kid. And
that's what he said at the end there. Right. I'm sure there's, spoke about the mental hurdle to get over, the physical hurdle to get over, but kudos to him. He's that mindset of like, this is something that happened to me. This is not who I am. You know?
Yeah. And I think it's a good learning lesson of just, when you're on the golf course and you're playing poorly, it's like, it's not that big of a deal.
I can take some perspective from that for sure, because you're right. It's like, hey, you're here, you're out on the golf course, and
body works, everything's fine. You didn't just go out and play.
And I'm sure when you asked Hayden there, hey, what's something that what's your perspective? What's something you want people to take away? And I think a lot of the things he said, there were great things to say. I think a lot of people who haven't had, sorry, it's a bad way to put it. When I say haven't had something like that happen to them, but a lot of people sort of gloss over those things. But in those words that he said, being grateful for every day, there is, whether you've had something like that happen to you or not, I think that's a lesson everyone should take forward with them, and being appreciative, being grateful for every day. As he said, that tomorrow is not guaranteed, and he's obviously utilized that a lot to, in a very short time, to have success, in his personal life and back on the golf course too.
I mean, it kind of circles back to the start of the episode with Anthony Kim. Like, he said for basically almost 2 decades, he thought about taking his own life, right? And didn't, and look where he is, right? So, we aren't therapists by any stretch of the imagination.
This is not medical advice.
But it is it was a good reminder. And for myself in the interview, I just kind of took a moment. I was like, okay, there's these moments where I'm like, okay, like, you can take that a little slower. You don't need to rush through things. But I don't think I can talk further without getting emotional. About it.
Yeah. That was it was a heck of a story. So Hayden, again, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing the story. Thanks for everything you've done. Mentioned obviously honoring his teammates and his coaches that didn't make it out that day. And
wears them every day on his arm. He's got a tattoo on his arm with every single one of their names. So
love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah,
great kid. Great. I mean, he's a man. he's a full-grown man. Real boy. I don't think there's anything else other than say, but just, appreciate it. And shout out to, James Duthie's did a great job doing that story, but what you don't see is the other stuff, like, that he continues to do. And he kind of brushed over it, but there's a lot of those people that in the media industry that will, do the interview, do the thing, and then never hear out, follow up or anything. And those are the type of people where, like James, that, keeps following up. I know took them to the World Juniors last year, saw them there. He's like, okay, no, you're coming here. I got you tickets here. Like, just making sure, right? And again, I don't think Hayden would never ask for anything. Ever. And I think it's a really good way to look at it too, is just, that was an event in my life, and I'm just going to keep on trucking through, and kudos to him. And, easiest guy to root for to get another win. And you just hope, hey, let's hope we find that extra gear, whether it's club head speed, whatever, because the kid can flush the golf ball. I think he averages like 78% of fairways in college golf. It's nasty. Just
that's really
doesn't
nasty.
hit far, but hits a dead straight. Yeah. So let's just hope that, some speed can come there too, and he can catch up. And, one of those guys that, if we're talking about the biggest comebacks in golf, he somehow finds a way to make it, let's say one PGA Tour Canada event. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for joining in. A very emotional, but really good episode today. So as we mentioned, we're on the new recording schedule. So we'll be recording these earlier in the week. We'll release them midweek, and we'll be back next week. We'll obviously review Riviera. We'll have an episode 12 for you next week. But as always, one click, hit the subscribe button, help us out. And I'm feeling a little heavy, but a little mindful after that. And we will see you next week for episode 12. Cheers.
Cheers.